fluffy. This is so good. This is gonna be so good. I have like so many tangents percolating. Let's see where it goes. I had the most amazing conversation with a friend this morning on Zoom, a new friend, and it was our first time ever meeting on Zoom. We've been talking for a bit, and it was so good. She's just amazing. If you're listening to this, you know who you are. Obviously. And so when I got, I told her I need to get off the call. We're in different time zones, so it's like her night and my morning, and we had been talking for like hours, like 2 hours, and I was like, I could feel like my senses were like, okay, time to go. I need to go, like, wash my hair and get ready for the day. And I had still have because I haven't done any of them yet, but I have a couple things that I wanted to do today. We'll see how many of them get done. But I hang up with her, we say bye, and I go wash my hair and start getting ready, blah blah blah, putting my little routine together, like my getting ready. And so I'm thinking like, okay, like I need to go do this, and I need to go here, and I need to take care of this. And I more or less had like a, sequential order that I thought I might go do all these things in. But as I'm drying my hair, I can just feel that sense of like, yeah, I don't want to fucking do any of this right now, and I'm not going to like try to get myself to do any of it. Oh my god. Okay, I am obsessed with this shrug. Just pause that for a second. I'm obsessed with this shrug. It's just like this little, it's a shrug, like a I think it's so funny that it's named that, like, you shrug, but it's like this little thing. And I had one that wasn't this one. It was a different one from somewhere else. I had it for so long. I had like 2 of them from the same brand. And it was like already starting to fall apart. And in the last like month or 2, it's like I wore it like every day, because I love wearing it with like this tank top, for example. Like I don't know, I love it. I love this shrug. But I kept fucking losing it the last like month. Like I just kept losing it. And wow, I didn't realize how wet my hair still was. I kept losing it, and I don't really lose things, like especially my favorite things, especially it's like something I'm wearing every day, but it's kind of like this layered thingy, so it's like I would take it on and off all the time, And then I finally so I had a bunch of fake times of losing it where I would just find it, but then I like actually lost it at some point in the last, who knows, week or 2. And no, maybe that was, oh my god, I think it was like a month ago. I don't know. Time is like non-existent for me right now. But I was kind of in this place where I was like, oh, it'll come back like every other time. But I kind of knew it wouldn't this time, and it didn't. And I just finally I was like, okay, I give up on this thing coming back. Like I'm gonna be led to another one. And I was led to a different shrug, which is this one. Somewhere that I never would have thought that I would find this clothing item here. And this seems like the most random thing that I'm talking about, but you'll see how it all ties into what I actually came here to talk about, because it always does. But yeah, I don't even know how I was led to finding this one, and it is so much better than the last one, and like I didn't have to go look for it anywhere. it's a much nicer fabric, and it's got like a little bit like more here. It's like all the problems that the last shrug had, this one like solved all of them. So happy about this shrug. But anyway, so back to my post shower getting ready. Yeah, so I realized, I was like, wait, I don't actually have the energy to do any of this stuff, which means I don't want to, which means there's a perfectly good reason for it that I don't need to know. And everything will get done when it needs to get done. It's not a big deal. It's just that it snapped me out of like my plan, right? The plan I thought I had for my whole day. Which is so great. Like, it's so great to think that you're, to think that you have this whole planned out thing that you're gonna do, and then it kind of just gets pulled out from under you by your own system, and you realize, you're like, oh, okay, well, this is obviously like what's happening in the present moment, and this is what I want to do, and this is what I don't want to do. It's that simple. Like, no explanations or reasons or anything necessary. And after hanging up with a friend, because we message a lot, so there's already like a bunch of messages on two. Actually, I had messages from her on 3 different platforms. One of them I still haven't opened, but I opened her WhatsApp message, and we briefly talked about what we were talking about there, and then I was like making my coffee, and I completely just gave up on the plan of the day I had. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen here. I don't know if any of this stuff's gonna get done today that I think I need to do today, which I kind of do, but nothing really matters like that. And only in that moment, after deciding that, like my entire energy shifted. It's like the world opened up like a playground again. It was like, oh, well, like, what's gonna happen today? Like, I have this whole 10 hours of the day, and I don't know what I'm doing now, and I'm obviously getting redirected to something else, which I always know is going to be amazing. And only in that moment could I have actually opened up the Facebook message she sent me. Like, I didn't even think to open it before that. It was kind of like, you see a message, you're like, later. And she sent me a message, and she said that she happened to be listening to one of my videos. I don't remember which one it was. But I was talking about oh my God, what was this video? How did I say it? Hold on. Magical Equation, I think is what I called it. Yeah. Which is going to be the title of this one. Is that what I called it? What did she say I called it? Yeah. I think I was talking about, I'm pretty sure the whole video was just about, when you come into living from truth instead of everything else, it's like everything in life that you experience, it really becomes this magical equation. It's like, it is the equation of magic. And in that message, she was pointing out that I had said that, and like how I just said it. I love what she said. She was like, yeah, you just said it so casually, as if you were just like reporting on the weather. Like, oh yeah, it's raining. Like, yeah, magical equation. That's how this works. And I was like, I love that, because it's true, because that is how I see and experience it. But then she was like, no, you have something here. And I remember too, because I remember that coming through that video, and I was like, I like that. I'm going to come back to that. but I just, went on with other things and completely forgot. And she was like, yeah, that. Like, she pointed her little energetic arrow on it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I actually want to make a video on that. Because it's like once you get to this certain place of, we'll just call it truth living for simplicity's sake, just to keep it basic. It's like everyone, whether they know it or not, you want to experience a magical life. And it's so perfect because something this friend and I were talking about on Zoom, we were talking about how before we had, whatever level of mastery we do have on this exact topic, creation. Obviously we're both individually in a very different place now than we were ever in our lives. And I was telling her how, and we were both sharing our experiences back and forth about the same thing, which was so cool. Very parallel, obviously. But, when I was younger, I lived through so much suffering, like an unbelievable amount of suffering, to the point where, like, when I came out of it, I was like, how am I even alive? Like, this is crazy. But I mean, I know how. Again, part of the magical equation, magical math. Yeah, that's what it was. Magical math. That was the phrase. Aha. I knew it would click if I stopped thinking about it, which again is part of the magical math. Because you can't coerce it and you can't manipulate it. But anyway, I was like sharing with her some of my earlier life experiences where, I always experienced magical things and people and relationships, and like the way that relationships would come into my life was always so magical, and it always felt like very destined and fated. And but then, so it's like I had magic always. Like, it just seemed like I was lucky in a lot of ways. But then I had like all the suffering, old world stuff, like that paradigm, suffering paradigm. So it's like it was both at the same time. And I always, back then, like teenage years probably was kind of where this started tapering off and it started changing. But I just always thought it was kind of random. Like, and this is how I think most people exist, like, their whole lives. It's like you just go about your life and you just think that things are randomly happening to you, and sometimes they're good and I have like one weird hair. It's like sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. Or there's the paradigm of like believing there's a solely external God that is like dictating, whether what you're experiencing is like good or bad, or like magical, or, boring as fuck, and you want to like gouge your eyes out because you're so bored with your life. But yeah, we were both talking about how, like, in that earlier time period, it's like life was very, it would swing back and forth, it would have like, I had this very heavy foundation of like all of this shit, but then like magical things would always happen anyway. And obviously that whole paradigm of experiencing that changed because I hit a point of coming into the truth and into myself where I realized, wait, like, we're actually the ones writing this whole thing. The magical math. I realized the magical math, and it's so funny because when you get to that place, it's like you can go back to every single life experience you've ever had, like the good ones, quote unquote, bad ones, quote unquote, definitely the magical ones. And you can see that there is such a precise and perfect and exact formula to creating like amazing magical experiences. Like the one where you're just, it's like your mind is blown open, like everything is just blown open, and you're like, this is what life is about, right? Like, this is it. And it's just, and this is the most amazing paradox about this. It's it's simultaneously this very clear-cut, perfect equation. It's like when you get to this place, you can look at anything and anyone, and you can see why something is happening or not happening. Like I can look at a person and I know why they're getting the results they're getting. I can look at myself and I know why I'm getting the results I'm getting or not getting. So it's like there's this very fascinating, like perfect structure to this where it's always on point. It's like there's only one solution in that sense, and not in some kind of minute way of like there's one thing to do, not like that whatsoever, but it is literally like math. It's literally like math. It's you either got the answer right or you didn't, but it's purely energetic math. And but this is the funny, like, simultaneous paradox about it is, like, what it's like you have this very structural equation, this magical math equation, that's like working itself through you and through your life, and like you're working this equation, like you're wielding this math equation, but then the way that things actually happen, and the way things come through, and like the way you meet certain people, and the way certain like things come to you and experiences, like the way that this shrug came to me, like I didn't have, well, let me finish my sentence before I go on another tangent. It's like the way that things actually happen, it comes through so fucking quote unquote miraculously, and it leaves you in awe, and you're like a child. You're living in the world like a child, but like a wise child. But it's like with a shrug, when I like initially realized I lost the shrug, I was like, fuck, like I've already bought this 2 different times, like I don't want to buy that again. There was this moment of attachment, which is a big part of the magical formula, except not having the attachment. But I had a moment of attachment to the old shrug, and then a moment of attachment to having to replace it, and like, going through the whole thing of like buying a new one and blah, 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 as if that's like such a struggle or something. But for me, it kind of is, because it's like, if I don't want to do something like that, again, like I didn't want to do my whole list today, there's a reason for it. And what I always see in hindsight, it's like that magical play plays itself out as soon as I say no to that initial plan. So like initially I was like, okay, I'll go to the website where I got the shrug and I'll buy it, right? Because that's what you do to replace an item. But I knew I didn't want to do that, and so I didn't. And that's the thing, as soon as you say no to that, like that predetermined plan that only has like one concrete pathway it's going to lead you to. And you can seriously apply this with anything. Like I know a shrug sounds fucking mundane, but like this is so rich. It's not about the shrug. It's like when you have this predisposed plan, it only has one pathway. Like it only has one possible outcome and one possible way that outcome comes. Like there's no magic. There's no magic to it. But it's like, I don't even remember how I got led to where the shrug was. Like, I have no idea online, like what I looked up or where or what, like, I don't know. I think I just stumbled upon it when I was already on a website looking for something else. It's like if I had stayed attached to the predetermined, like, known thing, which was to go just rebuy the shrug, I would have gotten the same shrug. And like I said earlier in the video, this shrug is like, it's like the 10.0 version. Like it's such a nicer material, and it's like, it was like a third of the price, which was crazy. Like it's such a nice material. And yeah, like I said earlier, it's like all these little tweaks that I didn't like about that first shrug, like this one doesn't have any of them. It's like the remedy to that old shrug. And this is how it works with everything. Like it literally is magical math. And it's so cool when you get to the place of being able to actually use this, and like the infinite like twists and turns and nuances of this. You can trace everything back to your own creation. Like everything. I can look at any single thing that happened in my life. Like one of the examples I was telling the friend on the call is like, you know, when I was younger, I mean always, like, but especially I really noticed this happening with like my first couple like boyfriends in adulthood, because I started noticing it. It's like I would go through like a really hard breakup and, you know, that whole process, but there would come a point where I would just let the whole thing go, however long it took. You know, varying things for varying experiences, obviously, but who is texting me? Go away. Yeah, there would always be a point in that like process where I would just let the whole thing go, and I would just get the knowing that, you know, whatever is coming next, like whoever was going to come into my life next, it was going to be so much more incredible than the thing that was over, obviously. Like, obviously. That's how it works. And, you know, I would get to this internal state of just like fucking letting the whole thing go, and I wouldn't be worried about, you know, when I was going to meet the next relationship or how it was going to happen or anything. And in fact, being the way that I am, I never wanted to know. Like, I never wanted to be like, okay, well, like this thing that humans do where they're like, okay, well, if you want a relationship, logically, you need to like go to this place and you need to go on this dating app, which is these days, like back in my day, in my early 20s, like we didn't even have dating apps. Dating apps were kind of like for weird old people, I think, still. And it's not that anything's wrong with dating apps or any particular thing. It's the energy behind it. And for me, I never, because, you know, even before I had the mastery of this that I do now, I always had a sense for it, like a taste, a sense for it, because it was always how I wanted to live. Also, what me and the friend were talking about, it's like, it's like even before you come into the truth of yourself and like how you function as a being, like in this magical math of like this whole brilliant creation experiment that we're all in and a part of and like are, you know, you still have moments where the truth like bled through the matrix, always, like always. It's like there were always moments where like the way things actually worked would come through. And yeah, like I never wanted to, even when I was younger, of course, I never wanted to like intentionally go out there and try to get things, especially when it came to relationship. Like that never felt right to me. It wasn't even a part of my thinking process. I got to a point where I watched this happen enough times where I was like, no. Like I got keyed in just enough to the magical equation where I could like, you know, ride it in some areas even back then, before I realized it was everywhere all the time, like always, constantly, now. I love that. Yeah, I knew it was an inside game. Like, I knew it was an inside game eventually once I saw it play out enough times. And it's always played out that way in relationship for me. Like I was telling her, it went from like seeming like it was kind of accidental to realizing like, wait, there's this mechanism that I'm obviously watching at play here. And it's it's almost like I see like it's like a DNA strand with like one strand of it being like me and my inner world and the way that I'm playing in my world, and the other strand is like the external world, which is really just a replica of the internal one. It perfectly always comes around to mirror it, but it's like they would just like interplay, and things would happen. Like, oh my gosh, why am I getting all these weird messages? But yeah, like with relationships, I noticed the way this magic equation would play out is, I would go through a breakup, and then once I got to a point, I mean, whatever, the time varied, but I would kind of be like, okay, like I'm ready to start crafting like what the next relationship is going to be. No part of that crafting was ever about like how or when is this going to come through, much less like how or when am I going to make this happen, right? Because that's like such a key focal point of how humans have been conditioned to get things. It's like trying to control the how and the when, which has no magic in it. Like, not even in the realm of the magical math, that thing. It's like, I don't know, it's like ghetto algebra over there. But yeah, there would just be a point where I knew I was like getting ready to be ready for a new relationship, and I would just all of the whatever attachments the last one brought up, they would just start getting dropped. Like, I would go through that unfolding process of just living life, where when you're on that trajectory of truth, life just brings you the perfect things in the perfect moment for everything to just unwind on its own. And you could feel this inside of yourself. Like I could always feel where I was in relation to what I was trying to create. Like, I could feel when I quote unquote wasn't ready for it, but it really had nothing to do with getting ready. It was about attachment. It was about still having attachment to the thing. And as soon as the attachment would drop, obviously the thing would seamlessly come in. It's like once you reach a threshold of attachment dropping about something, because it's not about like being some perfect person. It's not about that, which kind of sounds contrary to it being a math equation, because in math it kind of has to be perfect. But it's like you hit, it still is for like where you are in that moment. It's like once you hit the threshold of that magical math equation for that moment, then that thing comes in. And like, and this is the fun part, like, this was the part that was always so fun for me, which is why I never wanted to like go out there and look for it and like deliberately put myself in places where I thought that whatever the thing I wanted, in this example, a relationship, or in the example of the shrug, is also a good one. Like where, I thought it could be or whatever. Because it's like when you don't do that and you nail that part of the magical math, the thing comes through every single time. Like it literally can't not. It's like, I don't know why I have this image, but it's like you have like a beach ball in a pool, and it's like you're holding it down, and that's all of the attachment. But as soon as you stop doing that, like, you're not starting something else, but as soon as you stop doing that, it just floats on its own. Like it literally can't not, unless you yourself, like, I don't know, poked a hole in it, like, or something crazy. And I don't know why, but I always itch my face with my pinky instead of like this finger. I don't know why I do that. I have no idea. Just made a red spot. Okay, this I can't believe this is 30 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna go see where this day decides I need to go. Bye.